We only have two possible written accounts of what the dodo may have sounded like. So how can we know what they said to each other? We will explore the possibilities here on Deciphering the Dodo. One account suggests that the dodo had a cry like a gosling. While I'm not too sure what this means, it does seem quite fitting. The dodo in the game Ark Survival Evolved uses both goose and vulture sounds. Or at least it did when I made this drawing in 2019. But we should probably look at closer relatives, where some believe the dodo had a doo-doo, pigeon-like call, which is how it got its name. Now, it can be hard to find a full sound range for the dodo's two closest living relatives, but I know of at least 5 different vocalisations and several areas of body language and sound in domestic pigeons. Here are some examples, but we'll focus on the vocalisations this time. Big animals tend to have deeper voices than small animals. As is true for this big pigeon. Now, let's look at some of the speculative sounds. Perhaps people of the past would have seen all of these displays, but with no accurate recordings, how are we to know? While I tried to make an educated guess about what the dodo could have sounded like, the sheer variety of bird calls could quite easily mean that I'm very wrong. I mean, there's even penguins that sound like donkeys. Although considering the only living flightless parrot also has a deep booming call to attract mates from a long distance, it stands to reason that the dodo could have had something similar. As well as this, pretty much all pigeons have some sort of cooing call, and using phylogenetic bracketing, it should be quite safe to assume that the dodo had something similar. Although speaking of phylogenetics, what's the difference between a dove and a pigeon? Take a look at this bird. What is it? A city pigeon? A feral pigeon? A rock pigeon? Or a rock dove? Because this bird is the same species as this bird, it's just a different colour. I've always been alright with any of the pigeon variants of these names, but I've never been a big fan of calling them doves, mostly because I think it makes people confuse the rock pigeon and the collared dove. But you can clearly see here that collared doves are much smaller, though you can get white collared doves. But let's have a look at the rock pigeon's relatives in the genus Columba. For example, there's the wood pigeon, and I've never heard anyone call these wood doves. But then there's the stock dove, and I've never heard anyone call them stock pigeons. When I saw my first stock dove back in 2021, I originally thought it was a hybrid between a feral pigeon and a wood pigeon. In the genus Columba, there are 35 species. Out of these, only 2 of them are doves. Turns out you can't really make a family grouping of doves or pigeons. A dove is just typically a small member of the columbiforms, and pigeons are just large, stocky members of the columbiforms. So the names pigeon and dove are used more as descriptors. Considering both the dodo and the rock pigeon are significantly larger than some of the smallest columbiforms, such as the diamond dove and ground doves, I'm quite happy calling them pigeons.